not
No, yes.
caught up in Syrian problem just now.
No, I'm not. I'm not,
Okay.
thankfully.
So you can start.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahi Tejas Vinavati Tamas Tumavit Visha Vahi. Om Shahanti Shahanti Shanti. Does anybody have any question? Mahesh, can you just keep me on the screen, please? I feel too impersonal when I see this emblem. I can't see myself. Thank you. So in Janki-ji, you have a very patient and a very meticulous teacher. And she's carried you step by step with a lot of grace and affection to this point in renunciation, where he talks about renunciation is joy, and E. Carpenter mentions that at the end of the day, it's all about abasing your ego. The least amount of, you can't do it in halves. Even if the least amount of I is left, it pollutes the whole thing. We all understand that whether it is milk or liquid or fruit, small pollutant has the potential of polluting the total. So you got to get rid of the whole thing. I'll just read it. Sorry, Mahesh, I've got you. I can read directly from the text, it's all right.
If you can tell me, I can open it.
Yeah, it's renunciation is joy. Renunciation is bliss, right? There can be no peace, no happiness unless you renounce your little self. It's a statement of fact that he is making. Our little self is the shallowness of our little self is the barrier between us and the glory and perfection of the big self in us. And he indicates what is your little self, to give up your self-asserting ego, drop the idea of I, my, me and mine. So when you drop that idea with reference to what? You drop the idea of I, my, me and mine with reference to what?
With reference to your individuality.
My dear, I, my, me and mine is your individuality. That I, my, me and mine in your individuality, you have to drop it shed it with reference to what?
Ego.
Your thoughts, emotions, and actions.
1 minute. Somebody is talking ego. The I, my, me, and mine, which constitutes your individuality, is your ego. So in your ego, there is too much emphasis on I, my, me, and mine. That emphasis has to be shed in order to grow to a higher dimension. So you shed that I, my, me, and mine with reference to what?
Reference to one's own thoughts, feelings, and actions.
My dear, your thoughts and feelings have too much of I, my, me, and mine. You have to shed them with reference to what?
Gratitude.
Gratitude will help you shed them, but with reference to what do you shed them? See, what I'm trying to tell you, when you are sick, you will go to doctor, you will go to any doctor. Will you go to any doctor?
No, we will
No.
not.
No.
So therefore, because you have an ailment, Sheetal Patel, my dear, you're just substituting words. It's not going to help you, my dear. Sheetal is saying, shed them for renunciation. What is it? How did it clarify any matter for us? Do not use generalization. It is not going to help you. When you go to a doctor, what is your first problem? How to find a good doctor? Will you go to half-baked fellow? Will you go to half-baked fellow? Can't afford to go to half-baked fellow. So you have to go. So you have to go to a doctor in whom you have the faith and trust that he knows what your problem is and he knows how to solve it. So to that person, you trust him. So you entrust in him the guidance and the discipline and the medication that is required to lift you out of this sickness that you have. When our sportsmen have injury, to an extent we can handle the injury, but beyond the point, what happens? If there is no restraint in the budget, what happens? If there is no problem with the budget, then if the injury is too complex and too technical, we will send him to somebody in London or New York who is super specialized in that injury. Because you can trust that fellow's knowledge to help you out of this injury, which ordinary knowledge may not take care of. That's what I'm trying to get at. So therefore, where were we? Yeah. Unless you, there can be no peace, no happiness unless you renounce your little self, give up your self-asserting ego, drop I, my, me, and mine. With reference to what? You cannot drop I, my, me, and mine with reference to a superstitious person. That is what is happening in religious lobbies. They are telling you something which is not going to help you. So you surrender to that guideline. It's not going to help you. You enter distress and you'll exit distress. They're giving you wrong solution to the problem that you have. Everybody talks about meditation. Meditation is not the solution to stress. Ego is the problem of stress. So therefore, I, me, and mine has to be dissolved in order to remain free of stress. So when I, my, me is dissolved and your stress is gone, that peaceful mind is now qualified to think higher of the self and get there. So I'm asking again, you give up your self-asserting ego, I, my, me, and mine with reference to what?
Sir, to the knowledge of Vedanta.
Correct. You correct. You abase your ego with reference to the highest knowledge, Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the knowledge of life and living which has stood the test of time. Eternities, you surrendered them to eternities. The title of this book, Vedanta Treatise, is the one-word title of the book, is the eternities. It's a singular, capital E. It is called the eternities because as soon as life came, it came with its rules of engagement. These rules of engagement were valid then, are valid now, will be valid tomorrow. So they are time-tested, irrefragable, unyielding, and guaranteed to provide you peace and growth if you log into them. And they will keep you stunted if you try to modify them. That is the I, me, and mine you have to abase. 2, time-honored truths, Sanatana Dharma, truth and wisdom. Then you will grow. Not to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Never before could I believe it, but I see it all now. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself. You have to clean drop thinking about yourself. But you cannot do by halves. Even when the least grain of self is left, it will spoil the whole thing. See, there is a routine challenge, and there is one coming up now. We know one of our regulars is Poonam, and she has a son, Jahan. He's going to get married. And the brother, sister, mother, and father have mixed feelings towards this, but not them. Getting married is not the problem, not the issue. It's happy. A good wife, good man, good boy, everything is fine, no problem. The problem is, there's no problem, but they have decided, after being in the academy for whatever time and whatever prior to that exposure they had, they have decided that they want to make Vedanta and its internal study and its external propagation, they believe that is their way of repaying. Today's society needs answers to questions which are bewildering. So that is what they wish to do. So since they want to do that, that's what they want to do. But there is mixed feeling in the parents. The mixed feeling is, I'm happy they're doing that, but I'm afraid they're leaving me. I will not have their company to the extent and time that I had. I will not be able to enjoy them in the manner that I would have enjoyed them. So there's mixed feeling. So one part of it is they're happy they're doing something sensible. And the other part is the sister believes that I'm going to lose a brother, and the father believes that I'm going to lose a son, and the mother is confused up to a point. So this, to the extent this I, me, and mine is in that, it pollutes their joy. That's what you have to understand. You have to let the whole thing go. He who I love, I will have be free, comma, even from me. Full stop. But little bit, 2%, he must listen to me, no? God. What you have to understand, sir? Because you don't understand, you will not buy into this concept. What is it that you must understand?
Trustee, sir. You're a trustee and not a ownership.
No, all that you understand, my dear, you're trustee, but when it comes to letting go, you are distraught, no? So you don't kid yourself.
Collapse.
When they go, you're distraught. You're not happy they're going. If you believe that you are possessive, then your sorrow will be very high. But you've learned that you're trustee, so therefore you've done a good job as a trustee. But the responsibility of a trustee is to let the fellow fly. Let him go. So when it comes to letting go, co-parenting is full of comedy, etc. All that is fine. If you are light-hearted means I'm here and mine is not there. It's just a game to be played out. If you're impersonal, there's no problem. But when it comes to crunch time, there is a certain level of frustration and fear and anger and mixed feelings. That mixed feelings is 1%, 2%, 3% of I, me, and mine. And you don't have 1, 2, and 3%, you got 30%. 30% means you're dead. That's what you have to understand. 1% is enough to kill the whole thing. That's what he's saying. You cannot do it by halves. Even there is a least grain of self left, it will spoil the whole thing. You must leave it all behind and vouchsafe the personality and the mind as much sympathy as to any stranger, no more and no less. There's a certain amount of kindness and affection required. You offer that courtesy. What you have to understand, when you let go like that, they don't get abandoned. This is what they are not able to understand. Nobody who grows in life, love is non-negotiable dimension of correct living. Nobody who goes abandons anybody. Everybody is there in the radar of that person's goodwill. To appropriate time, that goodwill will be shown. But the person will be dishonest if his backup towards the family is at the cost of the family's freedom. Attachment is a perversion of love. It is not compliant with the laws of love. The law of love says you have to let go. So if you promote attachment, because he needs, so I must be there. You promote attachment, you're not compliant. You're doing that fellow disservice, and you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing disservice to this great quality which is called love. This has to be understood. This has to be understood. Hence must you banish all attachment and anxiety. Attachment and anxiety. Who is the culprit in attachment and anxiety? You do not banish care and concern. You banish attachment and anxiety. You do not banish care and concern. You banish attachment and anxiety. What is it called? Abu Ben Adam. He did not banish. He embraced. He had care and concern for all. Did not banish. He extended the bandwidth of his concern and anxiety and care for others, as it were, to the totality, to each and every person. So therefore, he wrote rightly as one who loved his fellow man. He didn't write. He didn't come in the original list where people expressed their gratitude and their devotion to the Lord, because he was marginally used to talk. In that list, he was somewhere in the bottom. He was not there in the original list. Abu Ben Adam. Is mind there? Angel came to him and asked, is mind there? Is my name there? He says, nay, not so. And Abu Ben Adam spoke quietly but cheerily still. Put it up. Abu Ben Adam spoke quietly but cheerily still. Why did he speak quietly and cheerily still? Abu Ben Adam, may his tribe increase. There is nobody of his tribe available. Everybody would like to have a friend like Abu Ben Adam, but nobody wants to pay the price for becoming Abu Ben Adam. And when somebody wants to learn and grow to that insight, you want to hold him back. This is crime of highest order. So don't leave me. It's crime of highest order. Abu Ben Adam, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace. Why he awoke from dream of peace? Why did he awake from a dream of peace? Because he went to sleep peaceful. A good day's work has earned a good day's reward. A good night's sleep. A good night's sleep is the just reward for a good day's work. Awoke one night from a deep dream of peace and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold, exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold. What is the meaning of that, sir? Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold. What is the meaning of that? You see, both the peace and his courage, bold. Both the peace and the courage are effects. They're effects of what? They're effects of what?
Not having desires.
No. He's not. He doesn't have desire. He got desire. He's out of context answer. His exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold. That see, if the Lord was to come to you, what will happen? You be honest. One part of you will be honored. Another part of you will be afraid. Another part of you will be trembling. So the mixed bag of feelings you will get. The Lord comes to you, you will be faced with your own conscience. No? So when you're faced with your own conscience, all this masking that you've done in your life, all that crumbles. So there will be element of fear. Because you have understood that there are certain things you should not do which you have done, and there are certain things which you should do which you have not done. So it will be a mixed feeling if an emissary of the Lord was to come into your home. He doesn't have any mixed feeling. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, fearless. Why?
Because of his care and concern for others.
Correct. It had made him fearless because his equation with others is non-conditional and non-preferential. Let thine be done, not mine be done. What is the meaning of thine be done in the context? It means inequity in life there shall be. Woe to him who is the cause of it. Judge not others and resist not evil. So therefore, he sees when life plays itself out, he sees that those who have misplayed their cards are today suffering, and those who play the cards well are okay, and those who take advantage tomorrow will suffer, and those who are suffering now is because they misplayed cards in the past. He quite forgot that vices in their bow. So he doesn't hold their aberrations against them. At the same time, he is objective enough not to put the checks and balances in place. He cheat their wanderings, but he relieves their pain because he doesn't hold it against them. So therefore, he's an instrument. He's an instrument of peace and succor for others. So that part of his obligation in life he has fulfilled. So why on earth will he be afraid? So therefore, exceeding peace is peaceful because there is no fear, peaceful because he has been true to life's injunctions. That love comes with it, with the non-negotiable requirement of absence of any condition and absence of any preference. No hanging on. Letting go means 100% letting go. He who I love, I will have thee free, even from me. This is the requirement. He met that requirement, so he's bold. And to the presence in the room, he said, what writest thou? And the vision raised his head, and with a Look made of all sweet accord, answered, the names of those who love the Lord. And his mind one, no. No, nay, not so. So Abu Ben Adam did not get disgruntled, did not say, okay, why on earth this is happening? I am functioning as an instrument and my name is not there. I don't mind, but why is it like that? It should be there somewhere. No? But nay, not so. It didn't bother him. Who did it bother? Who did it bother? By that person's own admission. You know, it's not for me to speak, but by her own admission, who did it bother? Who did it bother? By her own admission. See, all these classes we are taking for the last 2-3 weeks, next 2-3 weeks, it is centered around ego. It's centered around I, me, and mine. But it's got so many shapes and forms that you won't catch it. So you have to abase that to the insight of truth and wisdom. Then there is no problem. That is why we are taking these classes. Don't misunderstand what is the bottom line of every class. Bottom line of every class is capturing your ego in some form or the other. So he says, is mine one? Nay, not so. So when he's doing God's work, he's not in the list, it doesn't bother him. It bothered somebody. Who did it bother? Who was also doing God's work? Who did it bother? I'm asking.
It bothers the individual.
By her own admission. By her own admission, she got bothered. Who did it bother?
It bothers the individual, the
A
ego.
little louder, my dear. I can't hear you.
It bothers the individual, the ego. If I'm not with an ego, then it will not bother me.
No, 1 minute. Mahesh, what did the lady say? I can't hear.
She said it bothers the individual ego.
Arey, my dear, I am asking you which individual ego it bothered, man. There is specific individual ego it bothered, and that specific individual ego is on the top of the list as far as her affection for fellow men was concerned. Which individual personality got bothered? Because she believed that she did not meet up with God's approval. Which individuality was bothered? You don't know?
Her own.
Huh?
Her own individual.
My dear Mother Teresa, when she died, she wrote in a private diary that I have done everything that I need to do, but something within me tells me that I have not been good to Lord Christ. I have not been a good servant of Christ. I think that Christ doesn't approve what I do. This was her lament. She has written that with her own words, but the Vatican has kept it aside. She has written. Who am I to talk? Nobody else has second guessed it. She has written. She died in pain. From our standpoint, she is nobility personified. From her personal standpoint, she died in pain because she felt Christ is abandoned. Any shape and form, I, me, and mine take, you're gone, destroyed. Is mind one? Nay, not so. Didn't bother. It's okay. Replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but sheerly still. He was still deferential, but he was still joyful. He was not disappointed. He was not masking his disappointment. He was light-hearted. He was all right. And said, I pray thee then, write me as one that loves his fellow man. When he wrote this, when he said this, I pray thee then, write me as one that loves his fellow man. The angel wrote and vanished, and next night it came again with a great awakening light and showed the names whom love of God had blessed. And lo, Ben Adam's name led all the rest. So this is in that, it is Bhakti Yoga. Swamiji has put this, and he's talking the language of devotion, that it matters not how much you love the Lord. What matters is how much does the Lord love you. That is the question that you have to answer. How much you love the Lord is irrelevant. So therefore, if your love of the Lord is short of what it should be, then he doesn't love you. You can't do your own thing and ask for his affection there. So he can recognize your deceit. What is the deceit? You can't escape deceit. You can fool anybody else, you can't fool your conscience. You cannot escape self-deceit. It will catch up with you. What is the deceit we have? Our love is deceptive, it's deceitful. What is the deceit? What is the deceit in our love?
We only approach the Lord when we are in difficulty.
Huh?
We approach the Lord only when we are in difficulty.
No, that is one deceit. You are deceitful to your love to your children, man. You believe your love to your children is without deceit. It is full of deceit. You are not able to recognize this. Your love for your employees is full of deceit. Because if the employee leaves you, you say, I have paid you this much, now you have left you. But now you have left me, what is the use of it? It is full of deceit. That is why you are suffering, because there is deceit in your service. Very few people give, and those who give for the sake of recognition and for sake of acknowledgement. And that need for acknowledgement and recognition renders that gift unwholesome because it is full of deceit. What you have to understand is that you cannot fool the Lord. Put up the poem again. Behold, Abu Ben Adam's name led all the rest. Why did that means God put his name first? God scanned the list and said, you make him number one. That's what it means. What is it you must understand? If you talk the language of devotion, what is it you must understand? That you cannot fool God, no? Law of karma is a law of intention. And the motive behind the intention is measured as part and parcel of the mystery and gift of life. You cannot fool the subtle intellect. Motive you can deceive everybody else, but you can't deceive truth, you can't deceive that program. That program is designed to establish the authenticity of your motive. That is why functioning without motive will get you to the self. Motive is a deceit, is a pollution. So you can't deceive the Lord. You can say what you want, you can't deceive. So the Lord endorsed that his love for his fellow men did not carry any caveat, any condition. Since he ticked that box, his name led all the rest. In the context of what we are discussing, what it means, sir? In the context of what we are discussing, what does it mean?
let thine be done and not mine.
Huh?
Let thine be done.
No, let thine be done. Everybody is talking let thine be done. But he actually logged into that 100%. So he let thine be done means what in this context?
So when Christ
Correct.
said that,
Correct. It is let thine be done. And he followed it to the T. So therefore there is no trace of I, me and mine. He extinguished any trace of I, me and mine, because all trace is removed. His love is pure. He let all the rest. That is what it means. Therefore, what is it that you have to understand?
like Christ said, you settle your issues with your brother before you come to me. So he,
All that is all true, my dear. That is required. That your gross ego. So in order to hammer the stupidity out of you, he's telling you that you don't worry about that fellow. You worry about the sins within you and correct that. Otherwise, the bailiff will come to you. That is because you are arrogant to point of fault. That is a separate issue. Here is there is no I, me, and mine left. In practice, what you must understand, it is not that Abu Ben Adam is indifferent to what is beneficial, what is detrimental, what is kind and what is unkind, what is helpful and what is not helpful. It's not that Abu Ben Adam doesn't have personal likes and dislikes. Everybody will have. And the purer you are, your likes and dislikes are aligned to that which is purer and disaligned from those things which are gross. You know that Abu Ben Adam, punctuality or non-punctuality is one and the same thing. Tidiness and untidiness, one and the same thing. Whether it is cruel or whether it is kind, is one and the same thing. That's not how he sees it. He has a clear preference for kindness and a clear dislike for the things which are unkind. He has a clear preference for those who are charitably disposed and help others, and he clearly dislikes people who aggrandize and what is it called? Manipulative people he does not like. This is what you have to understand. But what? You know, impersonal, whether you're a thief or whether you are a devil or whether you're God, what is the same thing, same feeling I have. It's not like that. What does it mean, sir? This is what you have to capture. Otherwise, the whole thing is all poetry. He does not have equal feeling for the negative aspect of life and the positive aspect of life. The positive aspect of life, he has got positive feeling. Negative aspect of life, he has got negative feeling. Yet he says, rightly as one who loves his fellow man. So fellow man means he has to embrace of course he'll embrace the positive, but he embraces negative also. What does it mean? See, one student asks, that is why you have to question. In yesterday's class, one student asked a question that I understand everybody functions according to his own nature, and I have to accept that fact that everybody will function according to its own nature. I have to accept it. But to be honest with myself, if I cannot accept it, I cannot live by it. When it comes to acceptance, I find myself getting bugged, which means that I have understood it theory, but I have understood it in theory, but I am not accepting it inside. I don't know why this is happening. He's honest enough to ask that question. That is what we are supposed to do, not just quote inspirational things. It is not going to help you, not going to help me. You're questioning. So he says, I understand people function according to their own nature, and we have to accept this fact that people helplessly function according to our own nature. I have understood it, but I am not able to accept it. What does it mean? I'm asking.
That the knowledge has yet not become wisdom.
No, he has not given
sympathized
enough
with
thought. The fellow is living what he's saying. He's a very kind-hearted fellow. So after the class, I told him, okay, look, because he is a student over here and he's well liked by everybody, including the Incidentally, he's the son of one of the helpers in the academy, but it is fine. So he has natural affinity towards his people. So now the other people, the other servants come to do this, that, and the other. So I told him that supposing there is a liar, one person's nature is that he is pathological liar, jhoot bolta hai. What is the meaning of acceptance of the fact that he is a liar? Time tested, you observe the fellow, he will twist everything, and before he knows what is what, he will not tell you the truth. He's a liar. There is a pathological condition, psychological condition that he has, that spontaneously he will lie. Some people are like that, it's part of his vasa. So a liar will be a liar. This is what we are taught. So liar will be a liar. So you cannot withhold love because he is a liar. He is the fellow who wants it. But nobody likes lying. It is not socially, morally, ethically acceptable. Abu Ben Adam doesn't like lying. What is the meaning of, but to accept everybody unconditionally is to accept that a liar will be a liar. But he says, I understand a liar will be a liar, but I can't accept it. This is the conundrum that you must resolve. This is the truth. You understand that liar will be liar. In theory, if you understand everybody is hostage to his nature, then a liar will be a liar. Cruel person will be a cruel person. A cheat will be a cheat. Gullible person will be a gullible person. What can he do? That is his swabha. So yes, of course, what can we do? But when it comes to you, you can't accept it. Why? What is the meaning of, first of all, you can't accept it? Because you say you understood, in that sense you accepted it, but you can't accept it. What is the meaning of you can't accept it? You first answer that question. Liar will be a liar. Yes, of course, liar will be a liar. I understand. Very good. I know you understood. But truth of the matter, you can't accept it. If liar comes on your watch, why you can't accept it? You answer this question, sir. This classroom is meant to provoke you to answer questions. If you don't answer questions, you cannot resolve paradoxes in life. You can't resolve paradoxes in life. The whole thing is useless. I'm asking you.
Because you yourself.
Why is it you cannot accept? You know, after 20 years, 50 years of Vedanta, each person functions according to his own nature. So nature is lying. A liar will be a liar. A cheat will be a cheat. You understand, but you can't accept. What does it mean you cannot accept? This first question I'm asking. Haji, Kalyan sir, bolo.
Because there is an element of that liar within you also.
No, that is a separate aspect, my dear. This is not what we are discussing. What you are saying is correct. Before you remark that fellow sin, how honest have you been? So the quantum of deceit in your personality is very high. So you correct that before you talk about that fellow. The independently correct answer, but not in context of what we are discussing. But what you are saying will enhance your empathy for that fellow's life. In that sense, it is correct. You know, how much of deceit I have within me, if I recognize, then I will not hold that fellow's deceit against him. In that sense, the answer is correct. But it is actually valid. It is actually valid. That's how you abase your ego. You correct. When you see faults there, you see the magnification here in different form, and you correct that. That will help you to grow. The answer is correct. But what is another reason you can't accept? That's how you dissolve. That is how you will dissolve your antagonism towards him, by recognizing its magnification within you. So your anger will tone down. Correct. Answer is very good. Why you can't accept that?
Because you have likes and dislikes.
So everybody has got likes and dislikes. It is not possible to live without likes and dislikes. Are you trying to tell me that you are supposed to like a liar and not dislike a lie? Not dislike. Are you trying to tell me that you should not dislike lying as a trait and you should not like truth as a quality? Lying is a quality of thought, no? And telling the truth is another quality. You're supposed to be indifferent to both. Momita? I'm asking you. Momita speaking, no?
Yes, sir.
So, Momita, my dear, does it mean that you don't have positive feeling towards those who are trustworthy, and you will not have negative sentiment towards somebody who is liar? You
But the
negative
likes,
sentiment towards the trait. Also. You will have
the likes and dislikes show that I still have a sense of I mean what I like, what I dislike. So it's about me.
So therefore, there are a couple of reasons why you cannot embrace the capacity to accept a liar as a liar. One is that lying per se is incorrect, endorsed across generations by all society. So justification. One reason you don't endorse it, you don't buy into it, is because justification. Lying is not acceptable at any given time, under most circumstances. It's not acceptable. This is one reason. The other reason is what? If you are an honest and straightforward person, why you cannot accept liar as a liar?
Because you have the holier than thou attitude.
I'm sorry?
You have the holier than thou attitude.
You have what?
The holier than thou attitude.
No, that is, of course, you're sitting on a pulpit, but holier than thou attitude is too much of ego. That is slightly out of context. I'm saying, even as a humble person, if your nature is to be kind and truthful, you cannot embrace somebody who is uncouth and liar. Why?
Sir, because we have got ego. I got ego. I am a
ego में सब कुछ डालेगा तो तुमको कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा साहब. But we are talking of ego only. But in the ego, we are putting a laser on one aspect of it. No, you must put the laser on that aspect of it. Otherwise, if you keep giving ego as the answer, neither you will resolve anything, nor all answers are correct, all answers are useless.
Because the self within you is pure.
And not self within you is pure, my dear. You cannot accept somebody else because he is contrary to your nature. If your nature is to be kind and truthful, somebody who is a liar and unkind, it is paradharmic to your nature. So how will you accept somebody, embrace somebody who is absolutely alien to your nature? This is the bottom line of it. No, why don't you articulate that? It is easy for a kind person to embrace, to accommodate cruelty. It is easy for a truthful person to accommodate a liar. Because this is nature. If you are a liar, you can accommodate a liar. There is brotherhood between thieves because they understand each other's wavelength. So there is brotherhood between thieves, but between honest person and thief, there is no brotherhood. If you are a straightforward person, how will you embrace somebody who is deceitful? It is contrary to you. It is paradharmic to you. How will you accept paradharmic quality? That is what you have to capture, sir. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ravi, you got what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
If you are a straightforward person, Ravi, my friend, you can accept 5-10% sort of 5-10% of a little bit of fooling around. You can accept. So you're straightforward. How can you accept 100% deceit? Can you accept? How can you accept 80% deceit? You cannot accept it. So the more the opposite person is alien to your nature, the more difficult it is for you to accept it, because it's not close by. As we said, we have a nature, our nature appears natural to us. My nature is natural to me. So my accommodative power is plus minus 10%. Beyond plus minus 10%, anybody I see is here. Your nature is natural to you. Outside of that plus minus 10%, you will accept. I am sometimes speaking which is 40%, 60% away from you. So therefore, it's difficult for you to accept it. Because it is alien to your nature. It is alien to your nature means what? In the context, it means what? It means it is counterintuitive to you. See, to love is to let go. No? Loving is letting go. Attachment is holding on. For you, you are attached. So therefore, holding on is natural. Letting go is unnatural. It is counterintuitive. Since it is counterintuitive, you find it difficult to accept the proposition. How can it be? It's counterintuitive. Counterintuitive is not natural to you. The more unnatural, the more distant it is from your nature, the more difficult it is for you to accept. And your nature is good. It's difficult for you to accept. Your nature is fair play and good. It's difficult for you to accept unfair. Therefore, what is required? Therefore, what is required? What is it you must struggle to do?
That understand that people will be of different natures.
So therefore, if you understand that, what is it that therefore people will be at loggerheads with your personal nature? If there are loggerheads with your personal nature, what is it that you have to do?
Take my nature lightly.
Your personal nature is not so important, or it's equally
Your
important.
present nature is not naturally accommodative of alien nature, my dear. So, but if you are not accommodative of alien nature to you, you cannot get along in life. Life tells you that you have to accommodate those who are alien in nature to you. But you cannot, because it is unnatural to you. So therefore, what must you do?
Take myself lightly.
Huh?
You have to accept
Take
it.
myself.
You have to expand the bandwidth of your understanding and identification to embrace that which you dislike, which may be dishonorable independently or unsocial independently. You have to expand the bandwidth of your identification to embrace that mindset, which independently may be antisocial, anti-ethical. That is what you have to do. That requires understanding, wisdom, intellect. And why should you do that? Why do you have to strain to do that? Expand bandwidth of identity. Who has understood this, that you have to expand bandwidth of identification to embrace everything?
Abu Ben Adam.
The psychiatrist to whom you send that fellow with pathological disorder. When there is a pathological disorder in supposing that fellow is hypersexual, or what is it called? Promiscuous fellow, he can't control himself. You have to send him to psychiatrist. The fellow is bipolar. One way, this way. You have to send him to psychiatrist. That fellow has made that mental quality as field of study. Since he has made mental quality a field of study, psychiatrist is upset at him. But he understands this quality is not tenable in society. Does it mean he's upset at him? I'm asking.
No, he's not upset.
So therefore, he expanded his bandwidth of identification to that. No, sir. That is what you have to do, my friend. The psychiatrist also doesn't approve of bipolar. Psychiatry also doesn't approve of pathological liar. But if that is his field of study, then he will understand that something has to be done to rehabilitate that mind. So Vedanta, gives us a 360-degree understanding of life. Vedanta, you are a better psychiatrist than psychiatrist. Psychiatrist doesn't know what mind is. So you have to switch on your objectivity and identify with that. Identification now, therefore, does not mean that you have to accept it. You have to accept the behavior. Now there's a next point. Identification does not mean you have to accept lying as a routine aspect of life. If that fellow tells you, you understand liar is a liar, so therefore tells you, so therefore you will believe what he says. You're stupid. You're not supposed to believe what he says. Anything that he says, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Unless you double check it, you don't take anything at face value. Not from that fellow. Not from that fellow. You cannot take anything at face value. If you take something at face value because he's a liar, what can you do? You're stupid. What are you supposed to do? This is what I told my friend. Somebody there, हमेशा आके उल्टा सीधा बोलता है, झूठा बोलता है, थप्पड़ मारेगा तुमको, ये ऐसा बेलूदे फालतू बात मत करो, थप्पड़ मारेगा सीधा नौकरी से निकालेगा, ऐसा बेलू मत करो. So threaten the fellow, you do what you have to do. It doesn't mean you embrace the fellow in the sense that you are talking about. लाफा मारेगा, ऐसा बोलेगा next time. Last chance देता है. But as you are doing all this, he's laughing. So internally you must laugh at it because you understand the fellow is caught up in something, it's not going to help him. But in order to, you can't, in society, job that you're doing, cannot, family that you're in, you cannot embrace that fellow, allow him to do what it wants. You have to put checks and balances against it. So you put checks and balances against, nobody's asking you to accept it in terms of engagement. In terms of engagement, you must, different levels of, you have to try each art and remove each dull delay. All this you have to do. But behind that is no what? Behind that sentiment, behind that is what? Sentiment behind all this is what? He understood. That's why I told him that you are doing it unless you're getting confused. Because he's a very gracious guy. He knows how to handle all these fellows. If the fellow comes lazy, fellow comes late, that fellow comes, excuse me, you understand? But what? What is the key thing that is required?
Intellect?
No, if you have intellect, you will control the mind. If you have intellect, number one, you will understand. Number two, you will control the mind. You will prevent the mind from becoming. You will prevent the mind from becoming what?
Agitated.
Agitated. Why you prevent the mind from becoming agitated?
So you understood, no? He's a liar.
You
He's a liar.
made the right assessment.
Correct. If you understood, mind cannot get agitated. Just like the psychiatrist understand pathological liar is a liar, so you have to learn to deal with that situation. Others have to learn to deal with him. So psychiatrist will never tell that fellow or the family members that, look, at this point of time, I would not trust this guy. But it will take its own time before if he cooperates, maybe he gets rehabilitated, but he can't trust. Don't leave. Don't make him signatory in anything. If he's signatory in anything, take it out. No joint signatory, no nothing. You take it out. All that you have to do. But the psychiatrist doesn't have ill will towards that guy. The parent is disappointed. Why is like that? So there will be no ill will. Correct. If you have intellect, there will be no ill will. Your mind will have empathy, not anger. It will have patience, not anger. But the intellect will also tell you that you have to employ appropriate checks and balances against that aberration. But you may still get bugged. So to remove all traces of disappointment, what is the insight you require? Now you escalate to, you must look at life from spiritual dimension. I'm giving you a hint. He who has made it knows better what is needed than a man like me. So you must embrace life in its spiritual dimension. What is spiritual dimension of life?
That we are all the self.
Spiritual dimension of life is that in life there is a play for all kinds of behavior, including rudeness and cheating and lying. There is a window for cheating and lying in the dynamic and drama of life. This you cannot distort. The drama of life has its own dynamic. In that dynamic, there will be inequity, cheating, this, that, and the other. You understand it. To take offense at it is to take offense at the Lord. Nobody asked you to enter the portal of life. You enter the portal of life because ignorance of the self has opened this dimension. Now that you become ignorant of the self, you have to pay the forfeit. The forfeit is that you will have to tolerate all this. Everything is not hunky-dory. But life is also an expression of providence, of grace. So in that providence and grace, a lot of things have been provided for you to survive and grow, for which you are grateful and thankful. But to maintain that, the authenticity of that thankfulness, we have to be humble enough to do what?
Stay
We
for
have to
the
be
great.
humble enough to embrace which there's another insight to life. If you want to be on the right side of the God's books, there's another insight into life beyond the Abu Vedanta. What is that insight?
Forgiveness.
If you have that insight, you will forgive. If you have the insight, you will not forgive. The forgiveness is an act of ego. You have offended me, now I am forgiving you. This is an act of ego. If you have love, there is no resentment. If there is no resentment, where is the necessity of forgiving? It does not arise. Forgiveness arises because you have taken offense. That is your stupidity. Ego has taken up. Now you abase the ego, and therefore when you forgive somebody, you are bringing your mind to peace again. You benefit from the forgiveness, not the recipient. What is the insight you require?
Oneness.
Gratitude.
My dear, because of gratitude to all that has been provided, you will not have a sense of complaint towards something that you have to handle. What is that?
Sir, repayment.
No, in order to repay, you repay in which form, sir? Milton gives you the guideline how to repay. Who best bear his mild yoke, he serves him best. If you want to serve the Lord, you have to serve the Lord on his terms, not on your terms, sir. He's already serving you with all this, the benefits of grace and providence is already put you in this 1% place. Everybody else is 99% below you. You understand, you are in position of privilege. He's already put you over there. But along with this comes what? A certain level of inconvenience. So who best bear his mild yoke, he serves him best. So he goes on top of the list. What is a mild yoke? What is a mild yoke in the context of 1 hour you are talking?
His ego.
Mild yoke means burden. What is a mild yoke? In the context of what we are talking, I'm asking.
The inconvenience of having to look at
In the
yourself.
context of what the story we are giving, a case study we have put on our table, what is the mild yoke? Yoke is burden. What is the mild yoke? Srikant.
Humanity, other people,
Huh?
other people,
Sorry?
other people,
And
humanity.
not other people, liar, man. We are discussing lying, no. The mild yoke is the liar in your life. They're discussing lying, no. Other people make a generalization, they're not going to help you. There is a liar in your life. You don't want liars in your life, but there is a liar in your life. So you have to accommodate that. That is the yoke. Who best bear his mild yoke means we cannot select what we want and select one part of a person's personality and reject the other part of a person's personality. Different people are there in your lives. In those different people, there are positive traits and negative traits. One of the traits is lying. So you have to, in your case or my case, there may be a liar in my life. I have to accommodate that with grace and sporting spirit. That is the yoke. When I accommodate that with grace and sporting spirit, then I am true to him, to the Lord. My yoke is mild and my burden is light. This is the sentiment of Christ. The weight of your burden is the weight of your ego. You remove the ego, then it's just I have a liar in my life. He keeps me on my toes. If you look at it like that, you laugh at it. If there's the least element of I, messes up the whole thing. You remove the I, whole thing becomes a joke. This is our lesson of ego today. Thank you.